Saddle Sports Stadium in the Western Cape played host to the autumn trial, round 2 of the South African National Rally Championships. After one round of the series, the Castrol Toyota pairing of Serge Damso and Vito Bonafide headed the points log from 11 times champion Sorel van der Merwe and Frans Boshoff, now driving for the Daewoo team. Young Jean-Pierre Damso made his intentions known in Natal, and a class win in the team total Toyota Conquest ensured that he and navigator Pierre Arries held third place. Rally fans filled the stadium to watch the starting formalities and the opening stage, which was a tight gravel affair in full view of the grandstands. Local hero Damso was first to tackle the car park stage. Loose gravel ensured that traction would be a problem, and Damso had the disadvantage of having to clear the loose surface for the rest of the field.
Everybody says Serge has got home ground advantage in Cape Town. I don't believe that's true at all. So we've been rallying nationals for 17 years now, and I think home ground is South Africa, so I don't believe it's home ground advantage at all.
After a massive roll in Natal, Jannie Hubbeck wasn't confident.
Jannie, you've built a brand new car in a remarkably short period of time.
Yeah, you know, obviously the previous event was a major disaster for our team. Obviously it's also made a big dent in our chances for the championship. But we had a lot of assistance from Volkswagen and Port Elizabeth, from the motorsport department, and we managed to get the car together within 3 weeks. And I think on this event we'll have to look at ways and means of maximizing our points.
Sorel van der Merwe was next into the stage in one of the brand new 2-litre Daewoo Cielos, and a wrong tyre choice saw the Maestro struggling for grip. To compound his problems, a spin on the second corner also cost him a few valuable seconds. Fastest on this stage, though, was Etienne Lawrence and Robert Paisley in the Class S18 Team Total Toyota Conquest. Cutting corners seems to work pretty well. Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding had high hopes for this event.
You know, traditionally this event's been a good event. There are some nice forest stages this afternoon and tomorrow. Chart has always enjoyed the forest, so we just have to hope that we can keep it all together and have a result, if not better, than Natal.
Daewoo's second entry for Enzo Keane and Guy Hodgson attacked hard but also struggled for grip. From the tight confines of Belleville, the teams headed over Sir Lowry's Pass to Botrofia and the first of the real forest stages before visiting Stellenbosch and Paarl in the evening and returning to Belleville for a final service. Sasol Ford Escort driver Paolo Piazzomusso and navigator Nick Haddon adopted a cautious approach and lost a bit of time when they came across the stricken Dun Air Toyota Conquest of Hergenfecken and Dave Lukowitz. After a disappointing outing in Natal, Glenn Gibbons and Johan Seeling were hoping for a good result with the Hyundai Accent.
200 off slow left, 100 slow left, do not cut. 300 to caution, turn medium right, big drop ahead. 200 T-turn medium right, big drop ahead. 100 T-turn right, big drop ahead. 260 to a S-bend, slow right and slow left.
Daewoo's hopes of another win in the Group N class rested with Leon Buerta and Francois Jordan, who were driving the ex-Enzo Keane car. Running in Class S18, Barry Krobelaar and Mike Burrows were settling in rather than take risks early in the two-day event. Next through the forest was the Formula 2 Hyundai Elantra of Viljoen and Trier. Locals Pierre Gerson and Ossie de Jong know these forests and were going very well. When van der Merwe arrived at the next service area, there were a few problems to attend to.
Sorel, a difficult start?
Well, we've got some niggling problems, sorting out problems. We're having our power steering at the moment, but we're working on it.
Hubig and navigator Douglas Judd didn't seem all that happy with their newly built Formula 2 Golf after their disastrous start to the 1997 rally season, where they totally wrote off their Stanbreck VW Golf.
This one's also full of nonsense. 1K into the stage, we lost all the back brakes, and then, of course, halfway into the stage, we lost most of the front brakes, so it was another bit of a disaster start.
There were no problems for Damso and Bonafide, who at this early stage were building a commanding lead. As usual, Hubig was in spectacular flight and trying as hard as ever. It's rather noisy in a rally car at full flight. And notice the unusually long gear lever and watch the lightning fast gear changes. Despite still having power steering problems, Supervan was charging along and was second fastest on stage 3 behind Damso. Despite having only 1700 cc's under their bonnet, Lawrence and Paisley were barreling along rapidly and claiming third behind the more powerful cars. Van der Walt and Harding's pace was slowed slightly when the Golf's clutch started slipping. With 4 stages ahead, they couldn't afford to make it worse. A change of tyres transformed the handling of Kuhn's Daewoo, and he started moving up the leaderboard as his confidence grew. Drivers trust their navigators implicitly, but watch this moment as Johan Seeling finds that the notes didn't quite correspond to the road.
Blind rise and then long medium left. Sorry. Keep silent. 90 yum. It's a yum.
Hagen, it's been a difficult start for your rally season so far.
Yeah, the previous stage we just went off the road and we nicked the front of the car and damaged the radiator, and on this stage it started leaking and now it's overheating badly. So we hope we didn't blow the head gasket. We'll see, trying to fix it right now.
Lady Luck wasn't in a good mood, and the talented Jürgen Fecken's rally was soon to end. Stage 4 was the last before the rally turned towards the Winelands, and it produced some spectacular action. Sarol pressing on as hard as he can. Trees flash past as Piazza Musso concentrates hard as he guides the 200-plus horsepower left-hand drive Escort RS 2000 down the narrow tracks. With unsuitable damping, he was forced to exercise caution when it came to yumps, and it showed in his stage times. In-car camera action always makes for spectacular viewing.
300, crossroads turn of left and right, dip and yum.
From the outside, it looks totally different. With 2 new Class S18 cars, the Daewoo service team were kept very busy as the rally wore on.
Enzo, it's been a rather difficult rally for you so far.
Yes, we didn't have time to test the cars, so we're testing them now in the first few stages. We haven't got power steering and a few other things, but it makes it interesting. We're not being able to stay with surge at the moment, but I'd say I'm driving at probably 45% of what I could do. We're really still working hard on the car.
Hyundai's challenge did not go according to plan as far as Glenn Gibbons' rally was concerned.
We've had a bit of gearbox problems, and unfortunately we've had to withdraw the car. We can't repair it in time with only having 30 minutes lateness on the event. So, yeah, unfortunately, that's the end of Glenn for this event.
On home ground and with the crowd's support, Damso took control of the event and left the rest breathing his dust as he powered the Toyota through the forests he knows so well. Despite having more than one little problem in their Formula 2 Golf, Hubig and Judd were not in the mood to give up the challenge without a fight. Reputedly, Daewoo's 16-valve motors produce more power than any other at the moment. It certainly sounds crisp. Next along was a giant-killing conquest of Natalians Lawrence and Paisley. They had moved into second place and were having a tough time in keeping Sorrel behind them. By the time the leading cars arrived in Stellenbosch, the sun was starting its descent, and it was time to fit the lights.
James, there's a lot of activity around your car.
Yes, Steve. The battery voltage has dropped. We suspect a faulty alternator. The guys are just going to change the alternator now, because being fuel injection, if the battery voltage goes down, it obviously affects the performance of the engine. So the lads are just changing that quickly now.
And of course it's getting dark and you're going to need lights as well.
Absolutely.
Enzo Keane always tries hard. Watch the Daewoo's front disc brakes glow as he brakes for a hairpin corner. By contrast, Piazza Musso looked far smoother in the Escort, but it is only his second outing in a car with big horsepower, and it's taking time to get used to. By far, the smoothest is Group N leader Leon Buerta, but his near-standard 1500 Cielo has less than half the power of the highly modified 2-litre cars. Drivers further down the field battled in total darkness. Barry Hrobler was no exception. While Cindy Harding phoned home, her overworked driver was trying desperately to rectify a slipping clutch.
Serge, you're leading again, but there's some stiff competition out there.
Well, everybody seems to be trying very hard, and I must say Etienne Lawrence is going very well. Looks like he's lying second at the moment, so it's very good as we got first and second at the moment on the road, so I hope tomorrow everything goes well.
And Sorrel's giving you a good go as well.
It's funny enough, I mean, you know, we wrote Sorrel off a long time ago, but I must say he's really peddling his car very well, and he comes up with some surprise times.
The final stage of the evening was a spectator special in Paarl's town centre. As expected, with a lead of almost 2 minutes, Dempster and Bonafide took no chances. Sorrel, on the other hand, flung the Daewoo around with gay abandon, but a couple of sideways moments saw him lose 6 seconds to the Toyota. Smooth driving is usually the quickest option. Piazza Musso, a former karting star, bore that in mind and emerged from the test only 1 second slower than Damso. But it was acclaimed tarmac specialist Jean-Pierre Damso who caught everyone by surprise and set a blistering time, beating his dad by a second. By the end of the first day, Serge led from Lawrence, while there was a good fight for third position between Van der Merwe, Keane and Hubig. Damso Jr. surprised everybody once again by holding down a top 10 position. There were 10 stages to be run on Saturday, 8 around the Caledon area before the rally heads back for the finish at the Belleville Sports Stadium. Some had work to do before the start of the day's first stage, and others encountered problems en route to the first stage.
Tim, not a good start to the day.
Unfortunately not, Steve. The problem we experienced yesterday with the performance of the car, we thought it was the charging system. It wasn't. Seemed to be the fuel pressure. Fuel pressure regulator was playing up, so Lads have changed that now, but it hasn't cured the problem, so it looks like the fuel pumps. So unfortunately, the car's not going very well.
An all-too familiar sight, the Castrol Toyota leading the field. So far this season, Damso and Bonafide have led after each regroup. As Supervan made the 80s his, so Damso has made the 90s his. The early morning stages were pretty rough. Lawrence demonstrates the importance of a sump guard. The faster stages of day 2 gave the Daewoo's an advantage over Lawrence, and Sorrell started edging ever closer to second place. Keane also found the stages more to his liking and was giving the team leader a run for his money. Watching Hubbig storming through the forests, you could be forgiven for not knowing that his car's handling wasn't up to scratch. Young Damso was looking for another top 6 finish and started the day cautiously. After replacing a clutch before the start, Van der Walt was back on pace and was chasing Hubbig for Formula 2 honours. While technicians were removing lights, Sorrell had some explaining to do.
Sorrell, you lost a minute on the stage.
Yeah, we had a spin and we stalled the car, and it took me that long to start it again. Then I couldn't find the reverse, and all sorts of things went wrong.
Despite the effects of flu, Piazza Musso was starting to press on. A good opening day saw Christo Ackermann and Menno Havelaar move into the top 10 and challenge for a top 3 placing in Class S18. But the local Uno crew of Diffie Murray and Dani de Waal were going like the clappers in Class S19 and opening up some eyes in the process. Kroblar and Burrows had lost a bit of time on the opening day and were fighting back strongly on these fast open stages. Goosen and de Jong were also revelling on these stages. Who said local knowledge doesn't count for much?
Robbie, welcome to South Africa, and explain why you're here.
Well, I got an invitation from Enzo to come out and see this rally. It was going to be the first one with our new Formula 2 cars this year with the brand new cars, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to come and see what South African rallying's been like. It's about 4 years since I've been here on a rally, and it's certainly shaping up quite nicely.
Stage 10 proved to be eventful and featured the infamous and spectacular water splash. The graceful art of four-wheel drifting, courtesy of Toyota, Surge and Vito. Our in-car camera shows just how hard Damso is trying. Lawrence was trying hard to keep the bigger engine cars behind him and almost threw away all his hard work. This stage was fast. Maximum RPM and into fourth gear. And fifth. That's over 180 kilometers an hour. This rally was proving to be very competitive. This is Sorrell in maximum attack mode on his way to the fastest time. And Enzo following his tracks. Hubbig's Golf suffered the effects of a bow wave. Tjaart van der Walt moved up a place. That's Pierre Aris warning him of danger. And that's JP Damso's conquest upside down, blocking the road and out of the rally. The hardships of full-bore rallying were starting to take its toll on machinery.
Enzo, that was a difficult stage for you.
Yes, about halfway through the stage, I just heard this very bad noise, and I thought, oh no, the engine's blown on me. But and I started watching oil pressures and temperatures, looking for the fault. But I cruised through the rest of the stage and found the exhaust broke off right at the engine. So I'm happy to see that at least, not the engine. We can continue.
Stage 12 was another fast affair, and Piazza Musso was third fastest and starting to move up the order. Ackerman and Havelaar, Murray and Duval, and Grobler and Burrows were still fighting for a place in the top 10. Huerta and Jordan were still leading the Group N runners and looked set for a class win.
Etienne, problem for you?
Yeah, I was waiting for it to come. Luckily jumped off in the stage. Coil wire cost us 30 seconds. Plus the starter motor doesn't work, and we haven't got the spare. We've used that as well. We had to push it, so it cost me 30 seconds. And now Enzo has closed the gap considerably, so now I have to really go for the last few to stay ahead.
Another popular stage on this event is the Farmyard, and Damso was in full flight. Having dropped a place to Sarel, Lawrence and Paisley were working hard trying to keep ahead of a charging Enzo Kuhn and Yanni Habig. There's no doubting it, Sarel is a popular driver with the local spectators and never lets up his pace. Keane and Hodgson were going 10-10s in pursuit of the Lawrence-Paisley conquest and a possible podium finish. Habig is another entertaining driver. This is rallying at its best. There was a brief respite at the lunch halt, and the Daewoo chef, Nick Bates, was very popular. Back to the action. Van der Walt was steadily closing the gap on the Formula 2 leaders, Habig and Judd, but was beaten on this stage by Piazza Musso, who was enjoying the faster stages, proving that the Escort will be a force to be reckoned with once new suspension bits arrive. The battle between Ackerman and Grobler in Class S18 was being hotly contested. Both drivers were on the limit, but one went over it. Help was soon on hand, but they dropped to fourth in class as fellow golf crew Willem Lowe and Johan Barnard took third. The final stage was stage 1 in reverse direction. For Damso and Bonafide, it was a formality as they took the Toyota Conquest to another dominant win. Was a mere 5 seconds ahead of Keane at the start of the stage, but it was Van der Merwe and Boshoff who emerged fastest. Now all eyes were on Keane. Could he snatch third? It was not Keane's day. A broken side shaft 700 meters into the stage cost him a shot at third. Still, it had been a superb battle. Fifth place and the Formula 2 honours went to Habig and Judd as Van der Walt settled for sixth, with Piazza Musso less than a minute behind after winning the final stage. The Perret and Duval wrapped up Class S19, while Botha and Jordan bagged 10th and the Group N win. Ackerman and Havilah still managed 11th overall after their roll, while Ben and Isabel van der Westhuizen in their Group N Daewoo made sure the manufacturer had a 100% finish record. Volkswagen dominated the manufacturer's challenge, followed by Toyota, with Daewoo making their presence felt.
Serge, well done. That was another remarkable win.
Yes, I must say I really enjoyed this event, and on Friday we really tried hard to open a gap, and while everybody was trying to sort themselves out, and it paid the end. So today we had quite a clean run and we kept it together, while the last three guys having a good go each other, so it was nice and interesting to watch.